So there's always a special connection between little girls and their fathers or little boys and their mothers. And today on the Five Squad podcast, we're going to uncover why we think that actually is a phenomena here in our society. Today on the Five Squad, we are talking about mama's boys and daddy's girls. Enjoy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Five Squad podcast. If you do not know who I am, my name is Evan Andrews.
I'm Haley Andrews.
And this is my beautiful wife that,
Bear.
Mama Bear. She's got a couple of mama's boy. No, I'm just kidding.
I do.
Yeah, she does. But, it is what it is. But
we're going to talk about that
today's going to be a fun episode because, and I think one of the reasons why this episode is going to be fun is because I'm a stepdad and I got a daddy's girl.
You do.
It's so weird that
it's probably
that
one of my favorite
happens.
things about you because I always wanted that as a kid. So seeing it in real life is just
But yeah, I always, okay, so I'll say that. I'll start like this. I had a dad growing up, but he moved to Georgia when I was in sixth grade. So I was like 12, 13 or whatever. But my parents divorced when I was a baby pretty much. So it was like, I didn't really have him around all the time. So I naturally kind of became a mama's boy. Now I'm not, when you think mama's boy, you probably think like the Hollywood theatrical version of like a kid that can't do anything for himself or,
yeah, you're definitely like
whatever.
the dream
I don't think
mama's
I was.
boy.
Yeah, I don't think I was I was not like attached to my mom's hip.
No, not at all.
In that regard. Now I was a shy kid, so if I was ever presented in public with a situation where I was uncomfortable, yes, I was attached to her hip because I would hide behind her or whatever. But I wasn't like I need my mom to do this for me. Like I couldn't figure it out for myself.
I can't make a decision without
kind of stuff like that.
Consulting my mom.
Right. But I would consider myself a mama's boy just on the sole fact that like my dad wasn't around the way like a traditional dad should be around. But I know that your dad was kind of this similar, like your dad wasn't super around or
Okay, so
like
my
and he
dad
passed away early. So like,
yeah, so
how
my
was
dad
that for
wasn't
you?
around at all. And he died when I was 8.
Yeah.
But the way he took me on this like extravagant trip, like right when he was about to die. And so he left me with this like belief system of like a daddy's girl, dream. And then I didn't realize that was planned. But then I had a stepdad and there was no daddy's girl vibes at all.
Sure. So you didn't grow up with like the
not,
mentality that like I am a daddy's girl type of person.
No, I definitely grew up in like I'm an independent me.
I'm an independent woman.
And so I can't really speak on this like from my childhood, but I can definitely speak on it from a mom life standpoint.
I think that there's just like psychological and biological factors into, why that this phenomena kind of happens. Girls kind of needing to feel like they're protected.
Yeah. Security.
You're right.
Totally.
And boys might seek nurturing
and comfort.
From their mom. So,
because girls are used to like feeling love, right? Boys need to feel loved because in society, technically, like, it's not very like, out there.
Because when you, as a little boy, like
be a man.
Be a man. And I didn't. That's probably why I would self-identify as a mama's boy because I didn't have somebody out there telling me like, be a man and get over it and whatever. Now, if I fell down, got a scrape or something, my mom would be like, "Come on,"
right?
Like, you know what I mean? I remember.
You're fine.
I remember one time I was with Brian. We were coming home
His stepdad.
We were coming home from something. Like we had been in the truck like for a while, and we were coming home. And I remember, I don't know how it happened. I slammed my thumb in the car door. Like I had my thumb. I don't exactly remember, but like the car door was like it shut all the way. And it was like, I just like panicked and I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Open the door. Like, so open the door and like my thumb like instantly is like black and bruised and whatever. My mom wasn't home. Right. And I remember like going inside and he gave me an ice pack or whatever. And then I just remember my mom coming home and like she came and checked on me, but it wasn't like I don't remember it being like this, like, oh my boy, like she was just like,
you good?
Yeah, it was kind of like it felt like that, and I was like, oh man, mom, like she's like, oh, you'll be okay.
But
like,
I think something too that at least I notice in the relationship that you have with Callie, and as I think about like just how men are, like you guys want to fix things, right? And so I think sometimes the reasons behind, you know, the dad-daughter relationship or whatever is you guys provide those little girls with like that fixing mentality rather than an emotional connection to something. Just like Brian said, open the door.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like a dad gives like the just do this instead of like a mom going like, oh my gosh, and going through like the emotional roller coaster and panic together. Yeah. And that's why I feel like that bond is so different.
But, you know, even to, like to play devil's advocate to the scenarios, like, I mean, I think there's a special bond with like girls and their moms too. Like,
totally.
Maybe now more today than previous times.
I don't think so.
Oh, I mean, I'm just saying.
I mean, think about all the shows you've seen, like, and the moms and the daughters, like, doing household work and learning how to bake and learning how to clean. And it was always
I
the
just
women.
more come from now how, like, kids are kind of, like, growing up faster.
Yeah,
like,
that's the truth.
And, like, how Callie wants to do all of the things like you do, like the nails and do all of the stuff. But that often leads to, like, conflict amongst girls being together. Because y'all, no offense, like, girls
we
when
totally
they link
set
up
each other off.
Yeah. And
it's definitely devil's advocate. Like I love, you know, my daughter and my son's the same, but I would agree there are things
like
about
handling Christian for you is much easier. Yeah.
Which it's funny because I always, as a kid growing up, I was always like, why is it so much easier for my mom and my brother Luke? Like, and now I get it. Like if you want to take Callie anywhere, I'm like, Christian, Logan, I'll take them.
Her. Yeah.
Right. And that's just because you guys have different mentalities. And so it's like opposites attract kind of even in a parent-child relationship.
No.
You know?
100%. And so our next discussion point here is going to be definitely more something I think that you can... Well, maybe, I don't know. I might have some input here, but like,
I'm sure you will.
How do we go about nurturing those kind of special connections that kind of play into the whole mama's boy, daddy's little girl thing? But you're really good at like the communication aspect of like having them open up or like explain like through things and all of that. Where again, like you kind of said earlier, where I'm just kind of like, no, just do this.
Right.
And like, and then we've got it going.
I think nurturing the mama's boy relationship or connection for me is.
And this is from a positive thing. This is not,
totally.
we're not trying to talk about this from a negative. I definitely
don't want to talk shit about
like,
it.
No, I'm not saying like talk shit about it, but like, because there is a negative aspect where it's like, if you just coddled Christian and Logan or whatever all the time, like they wouldn't learn anything from any situations.
For me, I look at it kind of like, what do I want them to get out of this to be the best friend, coworker, spouse specifically? Mm-hmm. And so, you know, you mentioned how I tend to emotionally connect with them and allow them to open up. And that's because I want them to know that communicating through what you're feeling is okay. Mm-hmm. And for men, especially in society, I think, you know, tears and emotions are kind of frowned upon. And so I remind the boys very often, like, the world doesn't owe you anything. They're not going to be kind and soft, like at all. So I can be. Mm-hmm. I can always be that soft place for you to land. Yeah. And so I hope to be able to foster that in that mama's boy kind of relationship, you know?
No, 100%.
Plus, my boys are just, they have the biggest hearts. Like,
They,
oh my
they,
gosh,
they
they really do.
they really do. And not that Callie doesn't.
No, it's just
but she
different.
definitely, which she's also like in all of the family dynamics, she's the only girl.
Literally.
Like,
I mean, really.
Wherever she goes, she's the only girl.
Right.
So she's definitely got that kind of like, I need to take over, or like that kind of diva-esque kind
But
of.
I also feel like she kind of is reserved emotionally sometimes because there's so many boys. So then when she is with me, it's like, you know, emotional vomit, which is why
emotional
it's better.
from like a
Right, in a good way. I'm just saying, which is why when she's with you, it's just more positive for her because she's allowed to just be who she wants to be with you, because you give her that security and that protection, and she feels secure in who she is, you know?
Yeah, no.
She just gets to be a little princess with you.
I had a, and I'm not going to go into the full what exactly I said to her because it's not appropriate for the podcast. But she was doing the like how she talks to Christian when there's things going on, and I was like, don't talk like that, because that's not who you are, and you sound. And I use some adjectives that I'm just not gonna do
Right.
this because.
But that's not who you are. So you're showing a side of you that isn't
exactly.
authentic, and we're not gonna.
We're gonna sit here and pretend
Be like that.
yeah. But
I will say, it is difficult for me sometimes, most times with her. But I think of it
is that
like,
because the woman to
well,
woman
no,
thing?
I just think of it like we're so similar, you know, and
so it's personality, not just necessarily. Like
well, yeah,
woman thing.
but the positive side of it is, you know, we talk kind of a lot about like, how do you keep yourself from feeling guilty about it? I think about the positive sides of their relationship with me and her is she's everything that I didn't get to become.
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to kind of ask you about like.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like something you don't feel like you got as a kid the way that you wanted it. And
everything I see in her. I don't think I can ever go an episode without getting emotional, but you guys just don't understand how important my motherhood journey is to my growth. Everything that she has become has come from me providing her with the things I didn't have as a kid. And so I get to see her in a way that I could have been like that as a kid. And it's so overwhelmingly positive for me that like it excites me. Like I'm so happy that she gets to be who she really is and who she wants to be, because she has a me and she has a you. You know, she has an emotionally safe person in me, and she has a secure and strong and firm foundation in you. And I think it's so awesome to see, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, I love it. Like I have my unique relationships with the boys as well.
Which didn't always.
No, I mean, there was a point
like that.
there was a point where like me and
year it felt like.
I don't even.
No,
I don't know
that's
that
not why though.
No, I just don't think that it necessarily was. I think it was him trying to figure out who like I was to him.
Right.
But now
Which might make you feel emotional.
No, but I mean, me and him are like we're cool now. Like he wants to play cards with me. He wants to draw with me.
And if you have stepchildren, I think it's very natural for your kids to go through that.
Not understand.
Who are you to me?
Yeah.
And I think we've finally gotten to, I mean, we've been together for 8 years now.
Yeah.
So we've gotten to that point where we have those established roles and connections with each other where you're saying like you and Christian know what you are to each other, you know,
But I think that's also too a big thing of like how our relationship drives itself, because if we were like some of these people out here who are married but don't talk to each other, or you know, sleep in different rooms, or you know, whatever. Like,
which I don't know. I might have to sleep in a different room if you don't get your snoring.
I know. I gotta get the.
I'm just kidding.
The mouth guard is the first step, and then the CPAP machine is the next. But
yikes!
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't hear myself snore, so like I don't know.
But I think for me, like, and I know I said this in the beginning, but
we'll say it again because it's how we can wrap it up, because we're almost to the end.
No, I mean, I always wanted to be a daddy's little girl. I literally have a tattoo with my dad's, the day my dad died. That was my first tattoo.
Did that come from the things that you
desperate
believe?
Desire.
Well, I think there's things that you believe, because it was later in life that you figured out certain things.
Oh yeah,
right.
I mean,
like, so
it was
like for a long time you thought a certain.
Yes,
thing.
for the longest time I thought he like hung the moon.
Yeah,
like wow, he was awesome, and I always wanted or dreamt of this daddy's girl vibe, and to see it come true through you and Callie is just like overwhelmingly positive for me. And I really am so grateful to see that bond grow beyond what I even thought as a kid was the dream. And then as that bond grows for y'all, it allows me the space to nurture the mama's boy, you know, connection with the boys in a healthy and positive, you know, way, so that they're not, you know, falling into that societal negative mama's boy kind of vibe. Yeah.
No.
But it all starts with us, you know, it
100%.
comes from the
what they see
relationship that we have.
Yeah. I love that. And, you know, with that, that's the end of this episode. So we're just flying through these things.
But like I always say, like, this is so authentic to who we are. We're like totally unapologetically ourselves here. Yeah. So,
because anybody out there watching, like, we don't make any money off of this shit. Like, we're just doing this because we want to do something fun together.
And we love each other.
We love each other. We want to show everybody out there that, you know, even young parent, like, as I consider us young parents.
Yeah, totally.
Right? Like we all, I mean, no matter how old you are when you're as in your parenting journey, like we all go through the same crap. Like,
and it's all real, and it's all worth it, and it all matters. Like we're all going through it, and we're here to go through it with you.
Boom. So with that, if you got to the end of this episode, make sure you go like this video. Helps us out. Doesn't really help us out monetarily, but it helps us out with YouTube and maybe making money one day,
or bringing you more content,
and bringing you guys more topics that you guys actually like to hear about. But if you are new here, maybe this was your first episode, first time you actually saw us, make sure you go subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. If you listen on other platforms, you can find us on Spotify and a few other places, but we love it more here on YouTube. But you know, share this with somebody else who you know might have the mama's boy, daddy's girl relationship with their kids as well. And we're going to leave you the same way that we leave you every single episode. And just remember that every day is a new day and a new chance to get it right.
Keep pushing forward and stay inspired. See you next time.